In today's video, I'm going to walk you through how to set up automations in GoHighLevel using workflows, step by step, even if this is your first time opening the Automations tab. Automations are one of the biggest reasons that people sign up for GoHighLevel, but they're also one of the most confusing parts at the beginning. You open workflows and suddenly see triggers, actions, conditions, waits, tags, email, SMSs, and it's so easy to start feeling overwhelmed. By the end of this video, you'll understand how workflows actually work in GoHighLevel, how triggers and actions connect together, how to build a clean, simple automation that actually runs, and common mistakes that break automations. If you want to follow along exactly as I do, you'll need to sign up for a GoHighLevel account. There's a link in the description that gives you an extended 30-day free trial, so you can build this without rushing. Let's get into it. Before we start clicking anything, let's quickly clarify what automations actually are. In GoHighLevel, automations live inside workflows. A workflow is just a sequence of steps that runs automatically when something happens. For example, someone fills out a form, someone books an appointment, or a tag gets added to a contact. Think of it like this: trigger, actions, timing, logic. Once you understand that flow, workflows stop feeling complicated and start feeling predictable. With that in mind, let's jump into the workflow builder. On your dashboard, in the left column, you will see automations. Open that, and in the top right corner, you will see a blue box that says create workflow. Then select start from scratch. At the top of the page, you will see new workflow with a bunch of different numbers. You want to give your new workflow a name. So for this video, I will name it test automation. You can give it a name suitable for your workflow. So why does naming matter? As you build more workflows, clear names help you instantly understand what each automation does and prevents you from making any mistakes later. Once that's done, you'll see a blank canvas. This is where everything connects. Next, we need to choose the right trigger. And triggers answer one question: what causes this automation to start? On your page, you will see a plus sign that says add new trigger. So to add a new trigger, we are going to click this. For this example, we are going to choose form submitted. You can scroll down until you find form submitted, or you can type it in the search bar. Once I search for form submitted, I will then see it appear under events. So I will go ahead and open that. You can then select the form that you want this automation to connect to. So you have a number of different options that you can choose from. So I'm going to select email events. You can also give your workflow trigger a name, but I'm just going to keep it as is, email events. Once I have completed that, make sure you go to the bottom right corner and select save. Now we have our first trigger, email events created. If this trigger is wrong, the workflow never runs. Most broken automations are just misconfigured triggers. Once the trigger is set, GoHighLevel knows when to fire the automation. Now we need to tell GoHighLevel what to do after this trigger. Below the trigger, you will see a plus sign. Click that, and we can now add an action to our trigger. There are a number of common first actions that you can choose. You can send an email, send an SMS, add a tag, or create an opportunity. For this example, let's send a welcome SMS. So in our search bar, we will type SMS, and we can see send SMS. So you can give your action a name or keep it as SMS. You can either choose a template or type your own message. You want to use personalized tokens, and we do this so that automations feel helpful. We don't want our automations to feel robotic. Personalization increases replies and engagement. So you can type your desired personal message. So I will just say, hi, welcome. It is so good to have you. You can also get AI to help you write a message. Once you have completed writing your message, make sure you go down to the bottom right corner and select save action. So as you can see, I now have my trigger, and below my trigger, I have an action, which is an SMS. If you send everything at once, people feel spammed. That's where wait steps come in. You can add a wait action and set it to your specific desired time. So you can add this between your trigger and action, or you can add it after your action. So I will send it before my action. So above SMS, I will click the plus sign again, and then in the search bar, I will type in wait and select it. With my wait action opened, I will select wait for time delay. You can then choose how long you would like this delay to be. You can select minutes, hours, or days. So So for this video, let's go with hours. So we will wait 1 hour. And once we have chosen our options, make sure you save your action again. So now you can see I have a trigger. There is a wait of 1 hour and then an action where an SMS will be sent. Spacing messages creates a natural conversation instead of an info dump. This is one of the biggest differences between amateur and professional automations. So I have a wait of 1 hour and then an action where an SMS will be sent. You can then also create another wait with another action if you need to. At this point, your automation is doing things, but it's also important that your automation stays organized behind the scenes. Next, let's add a tag action. For example, you may use a tag like new lead form submitted. Tags are essentially labels you attach to contacts so you can segment people based on the actions they've taken, trigger future automations, or make reporting and filtering much easier later on. To add a tag, you will go to the plus sign again in the location you would like the tag to be created. So in your search bar, you want to type tag and you can add a contact tag or remove contact tags. So for this purpose, we will add a contact tag. You then can select tags, but I currently have no data. Once you select the tag, you can then save your action. As your account grows, tags help you understand who did what and where they are in your process without guessing. Now that contacts are properly labeled, the next step is deciding how your automation should behave differently based on what those contacts do next. This is where workflows start to feel less mechanical and more intelligent. Conditions allow your automations to make decisions instead of treating every contact the same way. To do this, add an if-else condition. For example, if a contact replies, stop the automation. If the contact does not reply, continue sending follow-ups. To add conditions, you want to click the plus sign again, and in the search bar, simply type if, and you will see an if-else condition. So you can give your action a name. We will just keep it as condition. You can build your own scenario, or there are a number of different options that you can select from. So we will just select build your own. We have branches. Then we need to select our condition. So we can select contact details, last appointment at, then we can select is tomorrow. Then we can save an action. So now we can see our condition has been added. If last appointment at is tomorrow, we can add an action. And when none of the conditions are met, we can add a different action. This prevents situations where someone responds, but your system keeps messaging them anyway, which can feel spammy or awkward. By adding conditions, you're teaching your automation how to respond to real human behavior, not just fire off messages on a timer. At this stage, your automation is fully built. Triggers, action, tags, and conditions are all in place. But before you publish anything and let real contacts flow through it, there's one critical step that you should never skip. This is testing. Testing lets you see the workflow exactly the way a real lead would experience it. And it helps you catch small logic issues before they turn into any bigger problems. Before publishing, add yourself as a test contact. Trigger the form or action and watch the workflow run step by step. You can also go into the top right corner and select test workflow. Most workflow issues aren't technical. They're untested logic. A workflow can look perfect on screen, but behave very differently in real use. Always test from a real user's perspective, so you know everything fires at the right time, in the right order, and it stops when it should. Once everything looks good, the next step is publishing your workflow. To do this, in the top right corner, you will see draft and publish. You want to just toggle that to publish. Your automation will now run automatically, trigger for every new contact, and save you hours of manual work. Check conversations and workflow history occasionally to make sure everything is running smoothly. Before we wrap this up, I want to quickly cover a few common automation mistakes. A few quick ones to watch out for. Forgetting to publish the workflow. Using too many actions in a single automation. Not naming steps clearly. Skipping delays between actions. And over-automating too early. At this stage, simple workflows that actually work will always outperform complex workflows that break or become hard to manage. And there you go. You've just built a working automation in GoHighLevel. This is a solid foundation you can build on moving forward. Once you understand triggers, actions, weights, tags, and conditions, workflows stop being intimidating and start becoming tools that run your business in the background. If you want to build this inside your own account, check the link in the description for the extended 30-day free trial. Just so you know, these are affiliate links, which means we may earn a small commission at no extra cost to you. Using the links in the description help us to continue creating free content like this. If this video helped, make sure to give it a like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.